Let us have a look at the security transaction tax. For equity delivery transaction, the STT which is charged on the purchase of any shares is 0.125% of the turnover. By turnover, we mean the number of shares into the price. On selling transactions, the STT charged is same, again 0.125% of the turnover. For equity intraday transactions, no STT is charged on the purchase of the stock, whereas when we are selling a stock, a 0.025% of turnover is charged as STT. For future transactions, again, there is no STT charged on the purchase of a stock, whereas on selling, a 0.017% of turnover is charged as STT. And for option transactions, for purchase, it is 0 or nil at the time of purchase of an option. However, the purchaser has to pay 0.125% of the settlement price in case the option exercised. To sell an option, a 0.017% of premium as STT is charged by the government. Let us move on with our transaction charges. For equity delivery transactions, on the purchase amount, a 0.0035% of turnover in NSE and 0.0034% of turnover in BSE is charged. And for sell transaction, 0.0035% of turnover in NSE and again 0.0034% of turnover in BSE is charged. For equity intraday transactions, it is again the same fee, same tax which is charged as transaction charges as it was for equity delivery transaction. For future transactions, if we are purchasing, a 0.002% of turnover is charged as transaction charges, and for selling also 0.002% of turnover is charged. For option transactions, 0.05% of premium is charged, and for selling also 0.05% of premium is charged. Let us now come to the SEBI turnover charges. Equity delivery transactions. When we are purchasing or selling any equity delivery transaction, no SEBI turnover charges are applicable. For equity intraday transaction also, there is no SEBI turnover charges, which is taxes which is applicable. But for future transactions, on purchase, 0.0002% of turnover is charged, and for selling also 0.0002% of turnover is charged as SEBI turnover tax charges. For option transactions, for a purchase, 0.0002% of the premium is charged, and for sell, it is 0.0002% of the notional value in case of exercise or assignment. Let us talk about the stamp duty which is applicable. For equity delivery transaction, if you are purchasing or selling any equity stocks, 0.01% of turnover is charged, and the turnover is usually calculated in multiples of 5,000. For equity intraday transactions, a 0.002% of turnover is charged, and again it is calculated in multiples of 5,000. For future transactions, whether you purchase or sell, in both the cases 0.002% of turnover is charged as in the case of equity intraday transactions. And for option transactions, when you are purchasing, a 0.002% of premium, and for selling 0.002% of notional value in case of exercises charged as stamp duty. Service tax, surcharge and education cess are also applicable on the total brokerage amount which is paid by the investor. With this, we come to the end of the discussion of brokerage and taxes. Thank you.